there's some arguments about it becoming an actual like psychological condition. It's called AI psychosis. And so what happens is people are getting into chats with AI and they're trusting it. They're treating it like an authority. And it's causing them to believe things that are, well, let's say, counter to reality.
Save our Sundays, no more Monday blues. Save our Sundays.
It's been a day, but we're excited to be here, and we're excited to welcome you to Save Our Sundays, the podcast where we build MyTeacherAide in public. We talk about sustainable teaching, we talk about good teaching practices, and we talk about AI in education, which is what we're looking at today.
And Drake.
And Drake. We're going to be talking about Drake today. We just tried to record the opening of this episode 3 times. So this is going to be the most polished segment because we already know what we did on the weekends.
Yes.
We already know how our weeks were like, but we're going to ask anyways because we're excited to share and we just like talking to each other. So today we're talking about
AI companionship and AI psychosis.
Ew. But yes, and AI over-reliance is a big topic. And the aim for this episode is to give you a framework for how to think about AI in a way that when you're using it, you're going to be less likely to be rotting your brain. You're going to be less likely to be farming out your judgment to AI. And on top of that, we're going to give you some, not just principles, but strategic practices that you can actually implement today that will prevent you from handing over the reins of your brain to AI. It'll improve your critical thought when you're using AI, and it will allow you to use AI in a way that does not make you overdependent.
Yes.
But you have to keep watching to find out.
I love
And
that.
first,
how's my week?
how was your week?
My week was good. See, I think when we live in Tasmania, there's not much to complain, right?
Nice.
And my walks to work in the morning are amazing. It's still dark, but I still catch
Just
that,
beautiful.
a bit of light peeping through.
The only city where you can actually breathe clean air.
Yes, I come from India, so let's not even go into the statistics of how polluted some of the cities are. But apparently, it's like if you live in New Delhi, for example, it's the equivalent of smoking 2 packs a day. So you're
living.
Prone to just living.
What is it like to be a smoker in New Delhi?
Oh man, I know, far out. And we probably have a large percentage of people who smoke as well.
Yeah. Wow.
Because that nicotine addiction be real. Anyway, so my week was good, but I think the highlight of my week was listening to Drake's new album, Iceman. And it's been amazing. And I know I was talking to you earlier about the whole Universal debacle, the Kendrick-Drake diss issues that exist.
It's admittedly not my world, but
I know.
Golly, I can respect that hustle. Like, what a strategic move. Just sacking all that money just to stick it to Universal and then getting all the clout for releasing 3 albums. Because he's like topping the Billboard charts now.
He is. So if you guys are teachers and if you're actually wanting, a bit of a distraction from your daily busy work, go check out that whole, what happened with Drake over the last 3-4 weeks. Just go check it out. It's pretty cool.
Josh has challenged me to listen to the whole album. It is definitely not my genre, but I'm going to listen to the whole album. I'm going to return. I'm going to send you an album.
Yes.
I already picked it out. I'm going to have you listen to Random Access Memories by Daft Punk.
Done.
One of my favorite albums.
Next week when we're recording, we're going to touch base and
exchange
check
notes.
in.
I'm excited. So I'll tell you about how my week was very briefly.
Yes.
Because I noticed you didn't ask. Awkward silence. I'm just going to jump in here.
How's your week, Jacob?
Oh, thank you for asking, Josh. I'm not going to lie. It was, this was a hard week. School is school. There's like heaps of stuff to do always. But I think on top of like the full-time work, we're doing the MyTeacherAide build. We're doing the podcast. It's a lot of time. I'm doing a lot of work right now looking at AI infrastructure that we're going to talk about this episode. Which is essentially, how do you make AI more deterministic is the word. It just means more reliable and more consistent.
Yeah.
I think the big problem with creating infrastructure to make AI more reliable is that it takes a lot of time. It's a big outlay of time, and I don't have a lot of it, but I'm also very obsessive and nerdy, so I will sacrifice sleep to it. But I mean, the mission's very clear, right? I love doing it, and I want this podcast, I want the app to do well. I want teachers to have a resource that is going to help them do their jobs well, and if used well, get some time back.
Definitely. And I think to that point, the stuff that you're working on or nerding on about also includes things that are going to be included in MyTeacherAide, let's say version 20, 25,
Yes.
30, 50.
Maybe even version 4, like some of this stuff.
You never know.
Because we're not done. We're not done at version 3. We're charging ahead. Continuous improvement. As this technology develops, we got to develop with it.
100%.
Also, I have some students who are discovering the podcast.
And how do you feel about that?
I've got mixed feelings. I don't know if you know this about me. I like my privacy. So it's very...
Say goodbye to privacy. Say goodbye. So it's gone.
It's very strange. I don't like drawing attention to myself beyond like, the immediate circle.
Yeah. And that's fair. That's fair.
So it feels weird, but also like they have good things to say. I'm just a paranoid person. So sometimes I'm like, did they mean it? Or are they like... Are they being sarcastic?
Or are they just buttering you up so you give them better grade?
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because the students at my school are just the best. I love my students. I think
just before we recorded, you didn't say that though.
I did not say that. I did not. That is a bold-faced lie. We're at a great school, and my students are fantastic. So I choose to believe them. So Josh, sounds like we've both had pretty good weeks. You were telling me though, before we started recording, you're telling me about something in AI that recently grossed you out.
Yeah, because this episode is all about AI companionship and how AI is becoming more than just a chatbot. I recently came across how, AI girlfriends have been a thing for a while now.
Yeah, gross.
So for people who don't know, there are apps out there where you can essentially build your own girlfriend and you can chat to this AI bot who is your girlfriend. You can name them, give them a persona, whatever, and you can have a romantic relationship with them. But what I read recently was takes it a step even further where you have artificial models being created. So very ultra realistic looking people. They have their own social profiles, but they also have links that send you to their OnlyFans, where you essentially pay a subscription. And the people who are creating these AI models are raking in millions per month.
That's insane. That is gross.
So there are people out there who probably know this. There are people out there who probably don't know if it's real or not because they look ultra realistic. That's the thing. So it's really hard to decipher between what's real and what's not. The way AI is going, it's going in a direction or has the potential to go in a direction that is not great for us as humans and for our brains, because we get to a point where we're not thinking or using our brains anymore and we're just happy to get that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting and it grossed me out a bit.
I hate the whole AI companion thing. I think it's really dangerous. And it's really dangerous because your brain has a very complicated dopaminergic system, which is just a fancy way of saying your brain uses a chemical to motivate you and make you like things. And that system is geared towards encouraging you to do difficult things that you get rewarded for, that cause you to do more difficult things to get rewarded. And it makes you better as a human. From a spiritual, a psychological, a physical, a relational perspective, that process of struggle, reward is hardwired into us to make us like
better human beings
as humans. That's what makes us human. And we've created ways to shortcut that system. So it's just
we're trying to outsource everything.
Reward, right? And this is, I think, one of the purest, and not pure in a good way, but like one of the purest forms of hijacking that system or shortcutting that cycle. And it's so bad because if you take a process that is meant to be aimed at another like human, right? There's that relational connection that you have to really work towards to build with another human. But the reward is huge. If you just get rid of the struggle, you effectively end up in this really gross relationship with yourself. like you're dating yourself. You become this really kind of twisted narcissist.
Because you essentially control what the AI bot is going to tell you. So essentially, if you like XYZ, the bot is going to give you XYZ.
Yeah.
So you're creating a persona, a reality that doesn't exist, but you're making it work your way, and hence dopamine overload.
Yes, it's really bad. It cuts to something that I've come across, which is it's a media term, but there's some arguments about it becoming an actual like psychological condition. And so what happens is people are getting into chats with AI and they're trusting it. They're treating it like an authority, and it's causing them to believe things that are, well, let's say, counter to reality. And what happens is there's a story about somebody whose kid stopped taking like medication, believed that their parents were dangerous.
So essentially making them go nuts.
Yeah, it essentially feeds them a version of reality that doesn't exist, and they just believe it. Because the brain, there's something about it where your brain just goes, oh, I'm speaking to a reliable authority, and we'll talk about why. But it causes your brain just to kind of go into this default mode, and you just trust it, and it leads you down a path. And then what's also happening is some people are going down this path, and then suddenly it switches on them, completely reverses its position. And that
confuses them.
It like psychologically dismantles them. So like some people have called it trauma by simulation.
Wow.
Simulated deep emotional intimacy. People are saying that these companies are being negligent by allowing this to happen. And
I think there's some truth to it, but then again, it's like fire. Like if I was lighting a fire, right? I know the risks of the place where I light the fire. For example, I'm not going to light a fire inside my house without any sort of controls in place. So I would go to the backyard and light a fire.
Or you switch on a light bulb.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm trying to say is with any sort of technology that exists, it can derail you or take you down. Yeah, it can be dangerous. So it's about how you use it. And that's why we're doing this.
Exactly.
We're trying to create this conversation so that teachers who are new to the space of AI, rather than just taking it for what it is, really understand what they're playing with here.
Yeah, because these stories, so we opened up with a doom and gloom, but these stories, they're very real. They demonstrate a very real risk. It's where you let your brain kind of push in the clutch and you just let AI act as your substitute thinker.
Yes.
It's a real problem, but it's an avoidable problem. And it's actually surprisingly simple, not easy, but simple to avoid. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to start first by talking about, why does this happen? What is it about your brain? What is it about ChatGPT that creates this danger and this risk?
Understanding why this happens will help the viewer realize how their brains are working as well, so that they can catch themselves if they suddenly see those patterns form.
Yes.
Because that's important, right?
Forewarned is forearmed.
So that brings us to, how do we use AI without losing our minds, right?
Yes.
So we need to create guardrails and have a framework on how to use AI, essentially.
Yes.
So there are 4 that we've been talking about.
4 principles, and then 8, let's call them
sub-principles.
No, they're a separate category, kind of skills. If you're a teacher, you know, understanding by design, you have knowledge and you have skills. And we have knowledge and skills, that we have a set of strategies of like thinking, no, not strategies. Well, we have a toolkit of knowledge as well as a toolkit of skills for you to take as you use AI to help you preserve your mind. And so what it is that in research on like system 2 thinking, there are 2 things that generally help to pull your brain out of system 1 thinking and into system 2 thinking. So that's what we're talking. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to do 2 things that make your brain go, wait, I actually need to expend this energy.
Yeah.
The first thing is education, essentially, right? Educational strategies. So think of it like PD.
Professional development that teachers go through to help them get better at certain aspects of teaching.
Like this. You could say that this podcast...
This is PD.
Yeah, this is a form of PD in that it's a legitimate system 2 educational strategy, in that we are providing you with information to change the way you understand AI, to make it more grounded and to help you be more alert about the dangers so that you can better reap the advantages. So that's the first thing. That's the knowledge. It's knowledge that you receive that you can then apply later.
Yes.
The skills are what are called cognitive forcing functions.
Okay.
And that is a strategy that you use in time. So when you are actually using the AI, that you actively use to slow your brain down to think critically. Because remember, the goal is essentially your brain, if you let it, would coast through life just going as fast as it can. It is to pump the brakes and get it to slow down and go like, no, we actually need to think through this.
Spend some energy here.
Yes.
Let's do it.
And so that is what the forcing function does in the moment. And heads up, you're not going to like them.
Yes.
As in, like, your brain is not going to like it because your brain doesn't like slowing down. It's a bit tight on the budget.
Yes.
It doesn't
but like
like
with
expending
anything,
energy.
But with anything in life, right? Anything worth having requires a bit of hard work.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want a good marriage, you need to work on your marriage.
Yes.
If you want a better life, you need to work on that.
If you want to be fit, you got to get out there, go for a run, go to the gym,
do all of that.
Whatever sort of fitness you're into.
So yeah, so with this, if you want to be a better teacher, you need to understand this because AI is a thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we're in, for better or worse, we're in a position where your ability to use AI is going to correlate with how effective you are at your job.
Yes.
If not now, then in the future.
Yes.
Unless all the servers go down and we're plunged back into the dark ages, or the bubble pops and they all disappear. Who knows?
Yeah.
But based on the trajectory that we're headed towards, you need to know how to use AI well. That's what we're aiming for. So we have, and it's like I tell my students, right? That it's the hard thing that is good for you.
Yes.
Your brain is going to look at, interestingly, your brain's actually going to look at the easiest thing and tell you that that is the best thing. That's why students just want to watch a video, right? And that's also why students really, really, really want to take brain breaks so often.
Yes.
Because it's easy. It's not the best, but it is easy.
So let's dive in, right? So the whole framework here we're trying to achieve is, or trying to get into, is using your brain first.
Yeah.
And then using AI second.
That's the anchor of the whole thing.
That's the whole
first,
thing. Yeah.
AI second.
So we're saying knowledge equals educational strategies, skills equal forcing functions.
Yes.
And the idea is to put the mindset in place before the habits.
Yes.
And then keep the habits tight and visible.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one, AI is a tool. It's not an authority.
Yes.
Elaborate.
So if we think back to the AI psychosis cases, if you look at the way that these complaints are coming out and the way that they're phrased and the examples that people use and the way they talk about it, every single one of those people are trusting the AI. They're using it as an authority.
Yeah. Okay.
And it is not what it is built for. So the thing that you want to do is you want to remember that AI is a tool. It shouldn't be doing the thinking for you. It should be something that you bind with constraints. It is something that has a use case. You use it for that use case, and you do not treat it as though it is more than that. It is an authority in as much as your computer is an authority.
Yeah.
Right? I don't open up the computer and
go to Microsoft Word.
Yeah, go to Microsoft Word, start asking Microsoft Word. Right? It's the tool that I use. In the same way, I wouldn't say that Google is an authority. Google is a search engine. AI is a language model. It is good at a lot of things. It is good at pattern work in context. So it's really good at summarization.
Yeah.
It's good at editing, right? If you're looking at structure, it's good at determining the next step in a process oftentimes, because again, you're looking at patterns. It can do things like sorting, extracting, grouping, reformatting, so like information handling. And it can be kind of good at writing drafts. Not so much content of the drafts sometimes, but mostly structurally. It's good at writing drafts and like general code completions and all these things, right? It's about spotting patterns in language.
And I think there's a real use case because we mentioned earlier how the brain likes the easy route. And when you have an idea, it's too overwhelming for the brain to comprehend that idea. There's a great use case for AI where you take a big idea and ask it to break it down into simple steps. Yeah. And then it's actually
very good because it's spotting patterns.
Correct.
And so that is leaning into what its function is as a tool, which is really important because you need to know what a tool is actually genuinely good at in order to use it well. We can't be just focused on the warning signs, because if I was, say, using a chainsaw, we go back to that chainsaw metaphor that we had. If I was using a chainsaw and I was as worried about it kicking back on me as I was about it exploding spontaneously in my hand, I wouldn't be able to use it as effectively as if I just trust that it's not going to explode in my hand. I just need to make sure it doesn't kick back on me.
And similar to, like, if you take a dishwasher, right? It washes dishes.
Yes.
Imagine I just put clothes in it and expect it to wash the clothes the same way. It probably would wash it, but then it wouldn't wash it in the way.
In the right way.
Yeah, in the right way.
So you need to know.
And you can't put dishes in the washing machine and expect it. You know what
I've tried.
You are a different breed, my friend. So would you then say, because AI is a tool, infrastructure that we create around AI is everything? Because AI in itself, as in generic ChatGPT, it does not have a lot of context. It has access to everything. It's trained on the existence of knowledge. Not knowledge.
It's a broad field of probability is what it's pulling from.
So it's everything, right?
Yeah, so infrastructure, infrastructure is everything. The second point of knowledge is what you bind it with is one of the biggest things you can use to make it useful and consistent, to make it deterministic.
And that's what we're big on with MyTeacher. One of the biggest differentiators of our tool versus what exists out in the market is the fact that we've narrowed down that context.
And that's the idea. And by no means have we perfected it yet, but we're getting there. And a lot of the work I'm doing right now, looking at, say, version 4, 5, 6, is how do we continue to improve the infrastructure? Because what we have right now is we have some really good infrastructure around the app. When you use MyTeacherAide, it is not just vanilla ChatGPT. We've very purposefully gone through and designed each tool to create consistent, good, pedagogically informed output. And on top of that, we've created a framework around it, around how to actually use curricula.
Yes.
And what that does is it makes something that ChatGPT could probably replicate if you gave it
a lot
of
the
framework around it, right? If you created the infrastructure yourself, sure, you could make something, you could get ChatGPT to do what MyTeacherAide does. But the thing that distinguishes MyTeacherAide is that for the use case of education, it is purpose-built.
Yes.
It's purpose-built and it is more reliable than ChatGPT. Because we have put a lot of work into building the infrastructure.
And the whole point of it is we realize the use case because we know that our end user, being teachers primarily, are time poor.
Time poor, which means that to build out the infrastructure, and I say this from experience because I know how long it takes to build out the infrastructure. It takes a long dang time.
Yes.
It is a lot of effort.
And you need to understand how these things work as well. And you need to be passionate about it. Not everyone is like you who understands it and is
willing to go through the weeds. Do you know how many different approaches I've explored to find the right one?
Will I lose sleep if I hear this out? Maybe.
You might not lose sleep, but I have. It's a lot because we're still like in the beginning of this technology. Everybody's trying things. There's one that I've settled on, which is around, I won't go too technical, but like context management and essentially controlling the context at the right time in the right moment is, I think, going to be the direction that it all goes in the end. But it takes a lot of time to set that up. It took a lot of time to find it, and nobody has that time.
That's one of the points here. Context being key.
Yes.
Right? So
that's the next the next thing. So you've got your infrastructure. Context is then what is the information that the AI is pulling from? Because remember that I keep saying probabilities machine. Because we talked about in a past episode that the way AI works is that it is a language model. So it is predicting the next word in a series of words.
Yes.
So it's not drawing from knowledge. It doesn't have any knowledge that it's actually using. When you ask it a question, it's just going, all right, let's roll the dice. And these are the words. Like that's what it's doing. So
that's scary, man.
Yes. So context is the knowledge you give it. So that's system prompt, your user prompt is context. But then if you upload a document, that's context. So you don't
And would you say the curriculum in the back end that we're providing it is also context?
Absolutely. So something that we do is we manually manage a curriculum database. So we make sure that our curriculum is up to date. It is in a database and it feeds in as context when you use a tool that refers to the curriculum. And what it does is it adds, essentially what you're doing is you're building the ground that the AI stands on. You're not asking the AI to like lay the ground as it runs. You're saying, all right, this is the world you exist in. Within this world, within this infrastructure, with the environment I have given you, do this work. You are bringing in all the knowledge that it needs to operate. You're not asking it to invent the ground beneath it. You're giving it its environment. You're giving it the tools that it needs, and then you're sending it off on a task.
So you're creating a world for it to operate in.
Yeah. So that's context. So infrastructure and context are similar, but the idea is that AI is most useful within constraints.
As much as you narrow it down to what you want it to provide, the better.
Yeah.
The more you narrow it down, the better. The more broader it is, the more gibberish you might end up with.
Exactly. So the last piece of knowledge you need.
We need to really know what we want.
Yes.
Right? So that's the next point. Know where you're going.
Know where you're going.
Elaborate.
You're developing a lesson plan. What was the plan you just did? What's the next thing you want your students to do? What assessment are you working toward?
And what do you want your students to come out of this class? Yeah. What do you want them to learn out of this whole process?
Yeah. You want to ground yourself. I came up with this after a pretty heavy stint of AI usage. Just trying to figure out like, all right, how can I make a workflow that really, really works? And realizing that you can get into a bit of a bind where you're so focused on handing stuff off that you don't actually know what you're doing. And that's what you want to prevent. So I experienced this firsthand where you're saying that you've made a lesson and you're like, wait, what am I actually doing?
Yeah.
Because you haven't grounded yourself. Your brain needs to exist in the world that you exist in. You can't just go, all right, I'm going to make it. And this connects to a skill. It's like, I'm going to make an artifact and that's going to be the thing. It's like, no, the lesson has to be in here before it's built out. That doesn't mean you have to know every single move and strategy and pedagogical thing, but you should know where you're going. What is my aim? If I'm designing a unit with AI, what do I want my students to take away from this unit? If I'm teaching Macbeth, what is the outcome going to be? I probably want my students to better understand the language, right? So be able to parse out some difficult words. I want them to be able to analyze a text and know what analytical writing is. And I want them to deeply consider the dangers of unchecked ambition and temptation. Ultimately, you need to have grounded yourself. You need to know where you're going. So that's just a way of saying that before you use AI, make sure that you know what you're using it for. Make sure you know more than the AI does.
That leads us nicely into the forcing functions that we can put in place that can interrupt us when we can potentially get into a mindset of system one thinking.
So that was the knowledge. The forcing functions are the skills.
The skills that we need.
Use? So we know, how do we think about AI? Now, how do we use it?
How do we use it? What are the skills we need? So you've broken it down really clearly here. So let's go one by one. Let's go one by one, right? So first,
it's all for you.
It's all for you guys. It's all for you guys. This is the best PD you're ever going to get. For free.
Yeah, for free. If we were paying for it, we wouldn't say it.
All right. The first one is planning on paper.
Planning on paper.
Elaborate.
So, first of all, I love paper. I think
it smells so good.
Yeah, and pens. Yeah. I love fountain pens. But that's not why
I don't know how to use it. I always got my fingers dirty with fountain pens.
That's part of the aesthetic.
Thinking on paper.
Yeah. Thinking on paper.
Planning on paper.
Planning on paper.
Yes.
Planning on paper. I love the alliteration.
Yeah.
Planning on paper.
Planning on paper.
So the idea there is that when AI generates a thing, we've talked about this, right? The experiments have been done. Research has been done to now show that if you're presented with an explanation from the AI, your brain is already like, oh, yes, my work here is done. Yes. We don't need to think, right? You've already put in the clutch. You're in system one thinking. You're in trouble. So don't go AI first, then review. Plan. Then AI. Right?
So write down all your
it's
thoughts.
Always brain first, AI second. So you should always use AI with an open notebook and a pen in hand. right?
And we're not saying you need to have everything written down.
No. Oh, no. Yeah, no, no. It doesn't mean that you should, you don't need to actually,
then you're just,
I'm going to write my whole lesson plan by hand and then have the AI. No, that defeats the purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, that defeats the purpose.
At least have your thoughts on paper. So plan
yeah,
on
so
paper.
the idea of paper as well, I genuinely think it's better to write it out, even if it's like 3 dot points, and even if you're not using complete sentences, think of it as like a scratch pad, because there's research to show that when you think on paper, your thoughts are actually become more solidified, because there's just something about the pen-brain connection, I'd call it, where it's so, I think it's because it's slow, because it's tactile, it's activating more neural pathways. It's making
and you're
more
using more
reflective.
sensory functions as well.
Yeah.
So
you're just using more of your brain, which means you're actually kind of creating stronger memory. And thought.
I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember who it was. It was a Steve Bartlett podcast, I think, Diary of a CEO. He was interviewing a psychologist, and I know I'm going,
oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just looked at the camera like, I don't know, guys.
So sorry, this is going off to a tangent, but just to drive that point home of writing on paper and how it helps. So this psychologist was saying how, as kids, when you learned how to read, you would read aloud.
Yes.
And when you read aloud, you are not only visualizing the word, but you're also speaking the word out loud, and also using your ears to hear the word. So it reinforces what you're reading.
So if you're not a strong reader, and this is something I've actually been thinking about this recently, I'm going to start telling my students this, is if you're not strong with your reading, you should be reading out loud, even if you're whispering to yourself. And I also I haven't looked this up yet, but I'm pretty, like, this is a theory I have. Your language is how you process thought. And spoken language is is just a natural thing. It's a natural way to communicate. It's a natural way to put thoughts together. So when you hear somebody think, like, the meaning is captured.
Yes.
Right? You just grow up with that. Written language is not actually like a natural thing. You have to like learn it from the ground up.
Yeah.
So, but what you want to get to is you want to get to the point where you can read just by sight, you can put thoughts and concepts together. So how do you bridge this thing that is just symbols on a page with meaning making with your mouth? So you bridge something that's familiar with something that's unfamiliar, which is why, when you're learning to read, you read out loud, because you're creating, when you say it and hear yourself, the meaning is there, but then the act of then reading as you do it is coupling the meaning with the symbols.
And same goes with planning on paper with this concept. So when you have these thoughts in your head, when you actually physically write it down on a piece of paper, again, not the whole thing, but just points, thoughts that you have that you plan to do. When you write those thoughts down on paper, it reinforces the idea, and you can correct yourself if you think, that doesn't seem right. That's not exactly what I wanted. Let me redo this.
Yeah.
And when you have a draft on paper, then you put it into AI, and then you get something worth looking at it.
And that is planning on paper. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever had this situation where you've said, oh, I know it, but I can't put it into words?
Yes, always.
Let me put this is controversial. I've thrown this at a few students. They did not like it. If you can't put it into words, you don't know it.
Yes. I heard another person on another podcast talk about this. And again, I need to start reading more. Reading aloud more.
Everybody does.
And again, I've been going through this journey of
well, you're at least bilingual.
Yeah, I'm like multilingual.
Yeah.
I can speak 5 languages.
Why?
But what I've realized,
1 1/4.
but then what I've realized is, over time, whatever is being told to you, you tend to take that on. So I'm on this journey of journaling every day.
That's right.
So I'm on this journey of journaling every day, first thing in the morning, just brain dumping all my thoughts.
You're developing your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just brain dumping everything on a piece of paper. And the reason I'm doing that is because over the last 35 years of my life, there's been so many things that have happened where I've just developed negative connotations to things. So for example, I was slow at, I wasn't a great reader. I never really enjoyed reading, but that's probably because I wasn't really influenced by the right people to get into reading.
Yeah.
And then my identity was tied into being, I'm not a reader.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to unlearn a lot of that now.
Well, and you can do it. Journaling's a great way because you're writing ideas down and you're challenging them.
Yes.
And so that's now you've taken and even listening to podcasts, having all these information sources. Now you're putting those ideas down, you're questioning them, you're reorganizing them. That's your brain now processing that information and more concretely than if you just kind of ruminate on it. And in a way that's actually pushing you forward now.
And that comes back to what we just mentioned. You just mentioned about you telling your students if you can't articulate what you want to say, it means you don't know enough.
Exactly. And so, sorry,
No. And so what I was going to say is I've realized that a lot of the time I've been good at just rambling thoughts, but they're never really clear with what I'm trying to say. And
I think it's a common human experience.
Yeah. When I stop myself, I don't know much about what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's
and
confronting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't. But then when you try, which is why, if you really want to understand something, teach it.
And the thing is, right, with this new AI thing, it exaggerates the problem to a certain extent. Because if you already do not know something and you're relying on this crutch called AI to give you the answers, then you're never learning, really. Never. You're just going to it.
Well, and that's that MIT study, Your Brain on ChatGPT, is that when you are just when you're just sitting there with the bot, relying on it, you get this sense of progress, but you never actually learn, and it's not your learning, and you're just kind of sitting there being the vehicle of your substitute thinker. So it's so important. So that I think it grounds back to plan on paper in this way, is that if you don't know what lesson you're about to teach, you at least don't know the frame and the aim of it, then you shouldn't take it to AI yet.
Don't.
The difference between you as a teacher and some random Joe Blow with AI is that you as a teacher have the professional knowledge, you have
the experience and the skills.
Even if you're a new teacher, you've still gone through your master's degree, your bachelor's degree, you've done your pracs.
You've done life.
You've done life, right? You have the set of knowledge that makes you a professional that you need to apply to your situation. And that's what distinguishes you as a professional from anybody else. So you need to make sure that you know the plan, or that you know the lesson.
Yes.
And then bring it to AI. Again, a draft does not need to be the full plan. A plan could literally be, for example,
4 dot points.
Yeah, 4 dot points. We're going to read
Macbeth.
Then, we're going to read Macbeth. Dot point number 2. At the end of each scene, I'm going to show them a few key quotes and unpack the literary devices. Dot point 3, I'm going to have an activity or a task halfway through where we're going to take a key quote and a literary device, and they're going to write an analytical statement. Dot point 4, exit ticket is this, right? That could be that's a lesson. Again, it doesn't need to be complex, but you just need to know what the plan is.
Yeah. So that was planning on paper.
Yes. Now that was big. That might be cut down.
No, but that's really good, right? We're touching on all the important points there. Yeah. Now, the next step in this whole process is how to keep it bounded.
Yes.
So we spoke about how infrastructure is everything.
Yes.
So how do we tie that into an actual skill? How do we keep this bounded?
So keep it bounded is, like you said, it's the applied version of infrastructure is everything, context is key.
Yes.
So what does that look like? The infrastructure and the context. It looks like setting boundary lines around the AI, essentially saying you can't go there, you can go there. And so that looks like, on a basic level, if you're just using ChatGPT, it looks like good prompting hygiene. Like, give it a role, give it a goal. Right?
Give it a roll, give it a goal.
Give it a roll, give it a goal. And then give it the background information it needs. So infrastructure and context is essentially
and that takes time. Again, I just want to, as Jacob mentioned earlier, it takes a long amount of time to do that.
I think the simplest prompt engineering you can do is as simple as act as a blah, blah, blah. Your task is to blah, 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 blah. And then give it some sort of formatted in 5 dot points, right? That is the bare minimum infrastructure. Now, going into what else you can do with infrastructure, you can give it a process to follow. You can give it a certain set of skills and style guides that are required of it. You can give it a particular like language to put it in. You can then give it context, like here is a university level text. Boom. I want you to pull out these points and write a year 9 level version of these concepts, right? So the context that you give it, then you could say, so that's context and infrastructure. I want you to separate it in 3 paragraph sections. At the end of each section, I have an area for students to then summarize that text. And now what you're doing, by telling it to format that way, you as the teacher are coming in with a pedagogical mind saying, I know that it is good to absorb information in chunks, take a break, and summarize it. I know that that creates long-term learning. I'm going to factor that into the infrastructure that I give the AI. And so that is the boundaries. I'm keeping it bounded. I'm not saying, give me a worksheet about these concepts and make sure that it's understandable at grade 9.
It will give you a worksheet, but whether that worksheet is usable or not is debatable.
It may not be good.
Yeah, cool. So that leads us nicely into a topic that we've spoken about in a previous episode, how AI should give you the artifact. But the act has to come from you.
Yes.
Meaning, I have to ensure that I am using my brain first to provide the right context, the right input, so that then AI can take everything that I've given it and provide me a decent output.
So when you approach AI, make sure this, and again, it's brain first, AI second. Make sure that as you plan on paper, as you're giving it boundaries, you're clear in your mind. What is it that I am doing? Is there anything that I'm leaving for this thing to plan? Or am I letting it just do the artifact? Because teaching is one of those, well, I think any profession, a profession has a key set of knowledge and skills that produces value and it produces artifacts. And the artifacts are a vehicle to get the value. And so you need the artifact, but the artifacts are annoying because they take time. There's all this like formatting stuff that you need to do. And if you're a teacher, nobody's giving you a personal assistant to hand that off to. So you need this artifact, but with AI, you don't need to make it. Like you don't need to be the one putting down, like structuring everything and making it all pretty. So make sure that you are the one doing the planning. You do the sequence, you do the judgment, you set the standard. AI then formats, adapts, redrafts, packages, presents. Right? And that is the artifact. It's the worksheet, it's the reading, it's the slides, it can be the rubric if it's given the right amount of context as well.
Now that leads us nicely into the most important thing in all of this is reading the artifact that AI produces before you use it.
Read before you feed.
Read before you feed, baby. So I think no matter how much context you give AI, no matter how much information you provide it with, and no matter how much knowledge you have, doesn't matter. Like once you go through the AI route and it generates an output, the most important thing that whether you're a teacher or not, anyone using AI can do is actually go through it, spend some time reading it and question everything that it's given you.
Keeping in mind, in order to do this well, you need to have started well. So you need to plan on paper. You need to have the right boundaries. You need to make sure that it is the artifact. Once you get that artifact, make sure you are reviewing it before you feed it to students. Don't walk into a classroom with Claude slides. Don't just print off this lesson plan and expect it to go really well. Don't just generate an exam and then go, oh yeah, this will be fine. Make sure that you are checking the resources.
Before you feed.
Read before you feed.
And I think I want to ask something that we probably is going to take us off on a tangent a bit, but I know there'll be people out there that listen to all of this that we've mentioned and they're going to ask the question. If there's so much work involved in doing all of this, how is it helping me?
Why would I use AI if I have to work? With any tool, you need to learn to use it.
And that's the hardest part.
Use it well. And that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part.
So we're giving this information and it might sound like a lot, but if you take these things, and I think maybe we can get producer Gabby to put up like a chart, useful little chart.
That'd be nice.
Take it, apply one at a time, start to explore and develop these skills, because there's that initial learning curve that it takes to get to use this stuff well.
But it compounds over time, right?
It does. And once you have it set up, that's where the time savings hit, is when you are proficient. And that's how it works in anything. And unfortunately, no, AI is not an instant fix, because it's still a tool, right? Remember, it's not an authority.
As much as it seems like it can be an instant fix because it gives you answers instantly, this thing will shave time off your daily work, right? But it might not seem like it initially.
It will save time once you know how to use it well.
Correct.
And here's the other thing as well. This is another thing I would say is, yes, it is actually a lot of time if you're having to build your own infrastructure and if you are having to constantly manage your own context, which is why we're here, right? Because we recognize that, and we want everybody to be able to enjoy the benefits of AI without having to need the budget, the time budget to build that infrastructure and to build out that context, which is why we're here building MyTeacherAide.
Yeah.
Is because the infrastructure can be built by anybody. It can be packaged, and then it can be used by other people. Infrastructure does not need to be individual in certain contexts. In the education context, it can be one infrastructure that works for everybody. And that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming to create an AI infrastructure, a standard that you can sign up for and use and get the benefits without having to worry about the time outlay of creating the infrastructure and the context. Where we're headed is that you will be able to come into the app or the ecosystem, provide your context documents, and then over time, these tools that we're making are going to get better and better at using that and presenting reliable, consistent information. And already what we're seeing is excellent results and great feedback on the output that's coming out because of the infrastructure we have. And the more we're able to develop it, the more we're able to take advantage of some of the methodologies and the technologies that are coming out in this space, the better that's going to get.
So you have to take it slow, try and understand it. And if you sign up to MyTeacherAide, we are trying to do the best we can to give you everything you need to know your way around the tool. And we're trying to simplify the whole process, improve the user experience. That's what our focus is with version 3.
Version 3.
And then version 4, 5, 6, we're already thinking about how we can fine-tune it better. Not just the user experience. We know we have the infrastructure. We know we have the context. But how can we make it even better?
Yeah.
You know, to help you achieve the best outcomes for not only yourself as teachers, but also so that your students come out stronger, better, and faster.
Absolutely.
I don't know why I said faster, but faster, stronger.